So good morning, and I literally do mean good morning. I have only just received my parts literally 10 minutes ago, so I am going to be filming. I thought there wasn't going to be any episodes this week, so yes, in this episode we're going to be doing the radio and the handset. It's a very simple build. It's really nicely detailed. The only problem I had, be very careful. Step 2, when you're popping the radio into the actual base of the insides of the vehicle, I had a little trouble lining up the locating tab. You'll see that I tried a couple of different methods, and then just all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just suddenly worked. So just be very careful on stage 2, but let's see how I got on. So good morning, welcome to stage 55, the radio and handset. Now the reason I say good morning, it is quite literally 10 o'clock this morning. I thought there wasn't going to be an episode of Ecto-1 today because the post was a little bit slow over the weekend, and I didn't actually receive my issues until this morning. So I'm literally straight out of bed filming these. Thankfully my postman was nice and early, so thank you Royal Mail for turning up, I really appreciate it. So today we're going to be doing the radio and handset, stage 55, and as always let's do a parts check. And I'm just looking for some tweezers, and the first part we have is 55A, and wow, look at the detail on that. This is the AN-PRC41 radio control panel. Now that is beautiful. I do have a slight concern. Are those buttons actually green? Is there a modification on the horizons just to paint those buttons? But look at that detail. That is amazing. The black handles and all the little recesses. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. Next we have 55B, which is the AN-PRC41 radio, and that's a green box with holes and recesses, and we can see a locating peg there. That's really nice. 55C, this looks a bit delicate. This is the H33 handset cord. Let me just double check that. H33 handset cord, and is a slight bend in, like like something's been leaning on it, but I think that'll be fine. I think that might actually be so that it can bend, but that's fine. I'm happy with that. 55D is the H33 handset, and yeah, so it's basically a telephone. 55E and 55F. Now these come in a little bag, and to me at the moment they look identical. Yeah, this one is E. This is H33 handset receiver, and this looks like well, the receiver. And that leaves us with 55F, H33 handset diaphragm, and this is the same as the previous part but smaller. And then that leaves us with 3 DP screws, which is 2 by 6mm, of which one is spare plus one is spare. So what we'll do is let's pop them on the table. It's only one screw today, so I might as well pop them on the table. So let's begin with step 1, and we need to place the radio control panel 55A atop the ANPRC 41 radio 55B. Now I can see that there's a screw hole, very hard to see down there, but there's a raised screw hole, and that's obviously going to line up with this. So if I place it this way, yeah, that's not going to fit, so it's definitely a one way. No, it's not. So let's have a look. Right, I actually had it right, correct the first time. So you've got the top piece, but you've got a smaller raised panel line on the bottom, and that's what you're using to line up with. So if you see that, that's going to go into, oh, that's quite a tricky fit. There we go, that goes in like so, and we need to fasten that with a DP screw, and unfortunately my regular screwdriver isn't going to work, because we need a small screwdriver to get into there. As you can see, my screwdriver is not going to work, so I'm going to use this one. So we need one with a really thin shaft, and that's going to go up through there, and there we go. And you can feel when it goes in, because there's some resistance. Now we are screwing into plastic, so we feel when that's had enough, and that's not moving, so that's absolutely perfect. Right, so to continue with stage 55, stage 2, we need to bring through the body of the Ecto-1, so I just need to move some of my parts out of the way slightly, and we bring in the body. So these are the parts that we've done earlier, and my light seems to be terrible today, I don't know why. So this is going, let's turn this around this way to match the magazine orientation. So we have our jump seat from a previous issue, and this is going to go in next to that. So here you will see there are various holes, 4 holes, and this is going to match. Ignore that hole for now, we're just dealing with these 3 holes there. So we have 2 locating pegs. No, bear with me a sec. So this is going in. There's one, right, okay, I see. So we have 2 screw holes and 1 locating peg. I do apologise, because as I say, I've just received this and I'm filming it straight away, which is a bit of a challenge for me. It's a nice challenge, but obviously I've lost that time to prepare for the issue. So this is quite difficult to find this locating peg. I'm sure that what doesn't help, if you have a smooth surface, you can just sort of feel around until you get the hole. Because this has got a textured top, it's quite difficult to find, but oh dear. Right, okay, I'm going to try a different tactic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the whole thing on its side, and I'm going to pop a, let me just, sorry about this, I'm going to have to move my camera up a little bit. Right, so we have, well, we've pretty much established that these 2 larger holes are going to be for the screws, and this one's going to be for the locating peg. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the screw through the hole there, and then I can see that it's going to line up this way. I'm going to turn this at 90 degrees, and I'm going to screw this screw in, just literally a turn. So you see it's connected, and then what I can do now is I can turn this radio and I can just rotate it along the circle, and I think maybe that locating peg isn't actually going to fit. So Right, let's try a plan B. So we'll pop the other screw in and we'll see if we can use that to help us locate. It is tricky getting, there we go, I think that's in. Now obviously if it's not in correctly, it won't go in. And that is actually in. I've just amazed myself. And I can see that I've got a problem with the locating peg. So, right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this screw again. So the problem for me is actually this locating peg. It's not fitting. So I also need to ensure that it's a problem with the part and not with me, because I do know people that are very quick to blame. And I can see that peg does fit fine. So I mean, I could just as easily, oh there we go, now it's gone in absolutely fine. Why is that? That's interesting, isn't it? So we've got the locating peg in, and it may well be I've got this the wrong way round. I don't think I have. It's obviously because of the position of the locating peg. I'm going to use this proper screwdriver. Wow, do you know what? I'm having that screwdriver issue again. There we go. So that's almost in. And then pop the second screw in. I nearly said screwdriver. There we go. And again, this doesn't need to go mega tight. It just needs to go until this is fixed firmly. As you can see, that is fixed firmly, and that looks really nice. I'm really happy with that. Right, so on to stage 3, and we need to begin by fitting the receiver 55E into the wider end of the H33 handset. So the receiver is the larger piece, as you can see there. Very hard with black on black, and that's going to push onto there like so. And finally I then fit the diaphragm, which is this 55F, which I very nearly lost, and that's going to push on to the smaller end like so. Finally push the handset cord 55C into the pin on the top of the radio. Oh, sorry, I've just skipped a step. Yes, sorry, no, we need to fit this. Right, so what we need to do here is we have two ends, which this end unfortunately has been a bit squished, so I'm just going to try and unsquish this, and this end needs to, you see there's a little post, and that needs to go onto there like so, and that's actually a good fit. Now if it wasn't a good fit, what I could do is get myself a cocktail stick, get the pointy end, pop the pointy end into the wire, push it quite hard, and then that will widen that end just slightly. Then we can push it on, and then overnight that tube will just kind of shrink back to where it was. So we've only got one step left to do, and that's to place the other end of this onto the end of the receiver. And I am trying so hard to not call this a telephone. You look at it and you think, oh, it's a telephone, but they're calling it a receiver, so I am, well, it is a radio, isn't it? They're calling it a radio, but Yeah, they call it the handset, sorry. So I'm just going to bend this neatly. Let me turn this around so you can see what I'm doing. So we're just going to bend this. I want to try and keep it neat. In reality, this handset would be picked up and put down, and you probably know yourself, if anyone's got a landline phone, that cable just becomes its own little map of the world, really, doesn't it? So, and that should drop into there. There we go. So there's the handset sitting there with a cable, and yeah, there's various ways you could tidy that up. I know that someone's probably going to say, well, that's too long. Is it too long? I'm not 100% sure, because imagine there'd be someone sitting there, his head would be round about there, he's got to reach in, grab that phone, and it's got to reach. So I'm not, this one I'm actually going to say it's not too long, but I'm just going to try and tidy this cable up a bit. My seat is still operational, but there it is, guys. That's issue 55, and that's the radio and handset. Let's see if I can, yeah, now removing the light doesn't make it any better. So lovely, that's it, stage 55 complete, the radio and handset. And I will see you in my next video, stage 56, which is the second jump seat.